Welcome back to TBRD. This week on the vlog, I'm going to be taking a look at the telephone, media, and more specifically, the navigation features that are built into this 2020 BMW S1000XR. Specifically, I want to note that when you look right here, this is the hardwired GPS mount that came on the trim with the motorcycle that I purchased. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the features that's automatically included and built in as part of the TFT. And in this video, I'm going to show you in more detail. I'll take you back to my garage and show you how to set that up. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that on my ride home from work this afternoon. So to see what I'm talking about, I'm going to hit the down button here on the menu. And you'll see navigation is kind of highlighted for me already. So if I hit down on navigation, you'll see I'm getting turn-by-turn directions. It's going to tell me I'm turning in 0.8 of a mile. And when I got 20 miles on my trip, and I should arrive home at about 5:05 p.m. So let's get into this a little bit. I'll tell you off the top that I don't use navigation a lot when I'm riding, but when I do, this feature functions as well as Google Maps, if you're used to that, with one big exception. I'm going to talk about that. There's one big drawback to using this as your primary navigation over if you had a full-time GPS, and I'll let you decide at the end of the video if you think that drawback is worth the $800 or so it would cost you to get that GPS. For me, it's not, because I don't use my navigation that frequently. I really like the navigation that comes standard here that's kind of built in. And the big thing to point out is you have to download the BMW Motorrad app to your phone. Once you have done that, you just sync your phone to the bike and the navigation will be available to you. And you can, just like you would any other navigation, whether it's GPS, Google Maps, put in your destinations and off you go. And you'll get turn-by-turn directions. Once you have the navigation set, it's going to tell you what the speed limit is right there on the road that you're traveling on. And quite honestly, I think they've done a really excellent job with this. The navigation, you can customize how frequently you want to get reminders in terms of the navigation itself. And so I have it on frequent reminders, and it'll come through my headset ahead of when it'll actually show up if I'm back on the home screen of my tachometer in terms of the turn-by-turn. So it's pretty hard to miss a direction. I've intentionally driven off course. It recalculates as quickly, if not quicker, than when I'm running Google Maps through my car. I no longer run a dedicated GPS on anything. I have rented motorcycles and used that function. One of the big things I would say is with this, a lot of times if you're just running off the phone, you are, beholden to your cellular service. And that's somewhat the case here, but not necessarily true, because when you download the Motorrad app, you can download maps. And once you've downloaded those maps, even if you're out of cell service, that map's going to continue to navigate you through this system. All right. So one of the things I want to point out here is you'll see this column over here, these white lines. You're going to see them when I got a left-hand turn up here. I'll zoom in on that. Hopefully, there you go, truck. These white lines are going to turn gray as I get closer and closer. See, there they go, they're turning gray. It's indicating that I'm getting closer and closer to this turn to turn left. So left we shall go. All right. Yeah, so it does a really excellent job in terms of keeping you as a rider apprised of where you're supposed to be going on your route. Really, I can't fault it anywhere. The major drawback that I mentioned that's going to turn a lot of people off is currently there's no option to have real-time traffic updates. And if you're doing a trip on the thruway, the interstate, that could be a major issue for you as you come up onto some traffic jams. It's nice to know how long that traffic is delayed, and that's not something you can currently access through here. One of the other issues is if you're back up here on your home screen, it will pop up with turn-by-turn directions. Sometimes it doesn't do it. I don't know why that is. I'd say 99 times out of 100 it does. It'll just pop up on here. But one of the drawbacks, and I actually think that BMW is trying to address this in a new software upgrade, is you can't see the map full time in terms of your navigation. And so what they're going to do is they're going to take this screen, kind of shrink it down, and then put the map over here on the right full time in a new software version. I will see if I can find a picture for that on the internet. I forget whose vlog it was, but I did see a vlog with an image of that on there. I'll see if I can find that and put it in this video for you. Otherwise, the navigation is I find it spot on and really great. You know, for my purposes, in terms of where I'm going, if I need to navigate somewhere I don't know where I'm going to, which isn't too often on the bike, I can plug it in and it's going to give me turn by turn, and I've got no issues getting there. So, you know, 98 times out of 100, it's going to do the job. It'll do the job the other 2 times for me too, like when I'm on the interstate. It's only then and there that I would like to have the traffic updates and reminders, but I don't think I want to have them for an additional $800, thus I don't have a full-time dedicated GPS on this bike. So yeah, if you are looking at this bike and wondering how well it works, I would tell you it works exceptionally well. We're going to get up the road here a little bit, and I'm going to point out to you how those turn-by-turn directions pop up on this screen. Alright, there it is. So you can see the navigation just popped up. It's telling me in 3/10, now 2/10 of a mile, that I'm turning left. If I want to get back to my digital tack, I can just hit my wheel to the left and boom, there it is, I'm back. Otherwise, I can leave the turn-by-turn directions up. So for me, I don't really mind that the map is not there full time, because it does give you about 3/10 of a mile reminders, because I have it set to frequent reminders within the app. So it's really not an issue. I'm going to kick it back to myself in the garage to explain a little bit more about setup on this guy, and then we'll come back and take a look at the media and telephone option. All right, we are in the garage here, and I'm going to show you how to connect your phone and your Bluetooth headset, if you have one on your helmet, to the S1000XR, or the TFT, the bike if you will. And in order to do that, which I actually already have mine connected, so if you zoom in down there, you'll see a helmet. That's signaling that my Bluetooth from my helmet's connected. The phone, which is showing my phone is actually connected. That yellow battery is because the battery on my phone is actually very low right now. So if you look here at the left handlebar, I'm going to come down this menu button, and when I click down on the menu button, that takes you into here. And so this is your choices, right? My vehicle, sport, navigation, media, telephone, and settings. You'll notice that the telephone, media, and navigation are all lit up white. They're not grayed out, and that's because it's actually connected. In order to make those connections, you go into settings, you click the down button on the menu on your button on the left handlebar, and you'll see connections. So on the wheel, you just kind of tab over, and you'll see I've got my mobile device. That's my phone. And you'll see here, you know, if you need to pair your phone, you just go down to pair new mobile device and make sure your Bluetooth is set on whichever mobile device you are pairing. And same for your rider's helmet. I have my Senna S10 already paired up. Now, once you pair those, let me back out of here. Once they're paired, so when they are paired, once my Senna's paired, I get the option to have my telephone and my media. The navigation itself comes through when you pair the phone. You need to have, let me show you here. So if I pull up my phone, you want to go to the BMW Motorrad app. So you download this app, And you'll see up here it says connected. And if I want to navigate, I can just come, there's a couple ways I can do it, but from my phone, I can punch in up here in the search an address and then hit go. So let me just put in an address. We will put in Best Buy. All right, there's Best Buy. I hit go. And now you can look back here and see that it is ready to navigate. Okay, I'm going to close out of that. Couple things I want to go through. Okay, so on the navigation tab, you can also select routes on here. So there's new destinations. You can go to recent destinations and punch those in, favorites, and points of interest. So in this app, in this BMW app, there's a couple things. You can download. Oops. Yes, I'm up to date. Thank you very much. Notifications. But there's all sorts of things in here. Destinations and routes, vehicles, notifications, nav settings, map settings, trip settings. There's a map download. So if I click on map download, you can see that I have the state of Maryland, because that's where I reside. Right now, that's the map that I have downloaded. You can download different maps and update your maps. When you do that, what's really cool, so let me toggle back up here. So under navigation, and you can go into points of interest. And let's say at my current location, what am I looking for? Maybe I want to get to a gas or a petrol station. So I can click on that. It's going to say updating, and boom, it's going to give me the mileage and tell me where these stations are at in this app. Maybe, whoops, I hit up. I apologize about that. Maybe what I'm looking for instead of a petrol station is somewhere to eat and drink. So let's look for some cafes or pubs around me. So it's going to update, and there we go. There's Coakley's Irish Pub down in Havre de Grace. There's, so you just got to go through here, and it's going to show you all your eateries that are close by. Let's say I want one, Concord Point Coffee House. It's a great place. Yes, I want to go there. So just click over and start guidance. Calculating route. Here we go. It's going to tell me how to get there. All right, let's go back. Let's end that navigate. Continue guidance. No, please end route guidance. So just click on that. All right. So we can look for cafes and pubs. There's fast food, restaurants. Let's go back out here. Maybe I want to find a place to park and rest. That is also in here. What do I want to look for? An open parking area, parking garage, public toilet, rest area, all here. And they function all in the same way. You can do it for lodging, health, and other. I haven't clicked on other. What comes up? Oh, check that out. Police stations, post office. So, your points of interest are loaded in there, and they update when you download new apps. So that works exceptionally well in terms of your navigation. What other settings are in here? Oh, yes, your route criteria. So let's take a look at that. We can determine how we want to get to where our destination is. We want to go the fastest route, the shortest route, or my favorite, if you're talking about going for a nice ride, the winding route. So that's pretty cool. We'll keep it on fastest for now. You can program what you would like to avoid. Do I want to avoid highways, tolls, dirt roads, ferries, tunnels? All that can be programmed in terms of your routing through the app. You can talk about destinations, or do you want waypoints? You can set it up that way. And then, do you want spoken instructions on or off? Since I have my Senna paired, and that's what that helmet is there, I like the spoken instructions because, as I said, it's really helpful when you're driving down the road. It cuts in. It gives you, unlike Google Maps, as I pointed out, this really does give you great advance notice of upcoming change of directions and trying to keep you on the appropriate course. If you do happen to make a wrong turn, it recalculates very quickly in order to get you back on your route. So it does a great job with that. So in a nutshell, that is your navigation. Under media, what do we got queued up there right now? All right, it's got some Guns N' Roses on there. So media is great. It's going to import all your playlists from your phone, and you can find those by clicking the down button. You can pause your playback here. It'll show you what you're now playing, so you can get in here. It'll update that. Let's not sit around and wait for that though. But you can select your artists, albums, tracks, playlists, and then there's different audio options. Do you want to have it on shuffle, repeat? All of that's controlled through the bike once you sync it. So that's really helpful and fantastic. Telephone, this is great. One of the issues I have with my phone on the bike when I just have the phone connected to my Senna is sometimes, as I said, it'll just patch the phone call directly into the helmet without, sometimes it'll ring, sometimes it won't. It'll just be like a live call, all of a sudden there's somebody there. I don't like that. I don't like talking on the phone when I ride, as I said, but I especially don't like not knowing who is there. So once you've imported the telephone, it'll import your phone book, which is really cool. And then as you ride, if somebody gives you a call, it'll pop up. The caller ID will pop up, and you can see if you want to accept that call or decline that call. You can even put a call on hold, or call waiting, if you will, and take secondary calls. You've got a call list here, so it'll log your calls, which is fantastic. So that's all well and good. So I really like that option as well. One thing I want to point out about the phone is I had a little bit of trouble getting my contacts to sync. And the way that you do that is actually, it's actually done through your phone and your settings. So if I go into, on my phones, I have an iPhone. If I go into settings and I go into Bluetooth and I find where I'm connected and hit information, you'll see this button here for sync contacts. What I found was this was off. And when it's off, that means my contacts aren't synced on the bike. So I just simply turned that on, and then it imported all of my contacts, which is helpful so you can see the caller ID when it's coming in. So all very easy. The only step that I really skipped here for you is how to connect all these devices, which is not hard. Again, you go into settings. I went over this loosely, but I didn't actually show you because I didn't want to disconnect everything. But all you do when you get into mobile device is you go to pair new mobile device and make sure that your Bluetooth on your phone is set up to pair, and they're going to recognize each other. The same for the rider's helmet. Depending on what device you're using, I'm using a Senna, you'll get some directions and you can pair that as well. I've heard some complaints about having to, every time you turn the bike on and off, having to repair. I have not had that issue, but I have found you can have some problems if, for instance, on my Senna, it was defaulted to my phone, and so since my phone's always with me, it would want to connect to my phone, and then the bike would have a hard time finding it. So you can prioritize that depending on your device, and that'll take care of the problem. There's options on different devices to have multiple connections, and you can prioritize those connections. So if you have a passenger helmet, you can connect it the same way. It's going to connect to the bike, so you can still have your intercom running between both helmets. You can share the music. You can set up different music if you wanted to do it that way, and then if you wanted to quickly delete all connections, you can just do that here as well. Yeah, so I think that's going to about do it for the garage portion of the video. So let's kick it back out to the road. All in all, I have to say BMW has done an exceptional job with these features. They're super easy to use. I don't have any trouble with connectivity. As I mentioned back in the garage, the one thing I will tell you is if you're not going to use multi-point pairing, the easiest way to make sure that your bike automatically defaults to these settings is just take off the Bluetooth setting for your headset if you had that set up separately, and just have your Senna or whatever your headset of choice is paired to the bike. And once you turn it on, it's going to automatically come on. I don't ever have any issues with it. So these are really wonderful features that come with the bike. For me, it makes the $800 or so for the GPS really not necessary. It's all the navigation I'm going to need, and if you can live without traffic updates, you're good to go. So if you have any questions about these features, drop me a comment. As always, I'd ask that you like and subscribe to the videos. Make sure you leave a like for me. I really appreciate it. Until next time, keep the throttle back, the rubber down, and enjoy the ride.